Blu-ray stacking up, yeah, the collection grows. Singing like nobody's watching, let the good times flow. Movies on repeat, yeah, he living that life. Great guy, big heart, yeah, he doing it right. Screen light glowing while the speakers bang. Sammy G vibing to the scenes and the frames. Love for the art, yeah, the passion stay true. From the first press play to the end credits roll.
Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel is going to be part 2 of my April 2026 watches, guys. Now, these are all the movies I have watched for the remainder of April, and I love making these videos, guys, to tell you guys what I have watched per month and looking back on my first time watches, revisits, cinema trips, the whole shebang, recommendations as well. So yeah, I love doing these devoted videos and going through what movies I have watched per month. And yeah, these are, as well as my Unwatched Shelf series episodes, these are also my favourite videos to make. Now, I've got a lot of movies to talk about here, guys. So I've got 20 plus films, so there's some of these I'm going to be quite brief on. Otherwise, it'll just be an insanely long video, and I've already had a habit of doing that. So the first film I've watched part of this video, and the film I watched with Brittany Murphy, Holly Hunter, Ron Livingston, and that is Little Black Book. Now, this was a nice surprise, actually. Didn't really know too much of the story or what this film was about, but I had quite a decent time with it, guys. It was self-aware. It knew what it was, and yeah, I just think it was interesting learning about this couple. And one character, Brittany Murphy, she's working for a TV show and she's kind of discovering this untold truth about her boyfriend, Derek, played by Ron Livingston, and her and Holly Hunter are working on interviewing Derek's ex-girlfriends in order to find out more information. I really did enjoy this film, guys. Great to see Stewie from the Big Bang Theory pop up in this film as well. Pretty good time. Great to see Kylie Simon in that one as well. So yeah, Little Black Book, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10 there. Now, guys, a bit of a disappointment, I've got to say. I did watch I Heart Huckabees, and I didn't like this movie, guys. In all honesty, I was really looking forward to it because of the cast and David O. Russell, who has made films like Silver Linings Playbook and Flirting with Disaster, which is another one I thought was great. But this film, it just was juggling too many things. It didn't know what it wanted it to be on the whole. And the characters were just blurting out information, and it just went a little bit eccentric for my liking. Hiding in this place, and then you would reflect on this past, and there'd just be like these sketches here and there. I just didn't get what they were trying to do there. And a lot of the characters were just standard planks of wood, whilst, don't get us wrong, the acting, the performances were good enough in this film. And I will say I did like Jason Schwartzman and Mark Wahlberg's like friendship and chemistry. Dustin Hoffman and I think Isabelle Huppert probably were the best part of the film. But other than that, guys, I just thought the story was very generic. It wasn't anything to write home about, and I can't see myself returning to this one in the future. So I Heart Huckabees, pretty disappointed with that one, unfortunately. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Doesn't really, sadly, get much better with this one either, guys. I watched that film called Puccini for beginners, 80 minutes. So again, it could have been worse. It could have been another half an hour or a home stretch here. And thank goodness that wasn't the case, because I was just a bit scratching my head thinking, what is this film trying to do? What is it wanting to be? Are we following these two characters? Are we following this set of characters? Is this person wanting to be with this person here? It was like that throughout the entire time, and it was just exhausting. Character Philip in that film just was very standard, a bit of a sleazeball. I think there was just a lot of bickering and arguing in this film that just, whilst if that happens in, say, a Mike Leigh film or a Woody Allen film, that at least the characters are engaging to watch. But whereas with here, the characters just weren't that interesting. And I thought the New York setting was good, though, I will say that, and I did enjoy. There was a couple of hangout scenes by this theatre show, I will say. But other than that, guys, I did not enjoy hanging out with these characters. And I just can't really recommend this one, to be honest. If I go to this sort of like indie drama or indie film, I'm going to go to something like Annie Hall or Midnight in Paris, or I'm going to go to one of Mike Leigh's films with Secrets and Lies, something along those lines, or a Ken Loach film or something like that. But this was just not very good, unfortunately. Puccini for beginners, I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 10 and probably won't be returning to this one in future. Something a bit better, though, I will say probably a lot better than that. I did watch the film Shop Girl with Steve Martin, Jason Schwartzman, and... have I got it right here, actually, guys? Who else was in this? Claire Danes is in this. Following this cover, I thought, is this going to be a typical rom-com, but done in kind of a nice, light-hearted fashion? I was completely wrong. Now, this film was so different to what I thought it was going to be. It wasn't even a rom-com, guys. It felt more like a romantic drama on a similar resemblance to Lost in Translation. Nowhere as good as that film, obviously. But it was decent, you know what, this film. And I just found it interesting at first when Claire Danes and Jason Schwartzman, you see them, they're kind of starting to hang out, and Jason Schwartzman's character is like, I think on the tour with a band, I think. And then you see Claire Danes hangs out more with Steve Martin, and they spend a lot more screen time together. It was quite an interesting 90-minute watch. And I think it was 90 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah, 100 minutes, should I say. But yeah, and I've got to say, guys, the budgeting and the look of the film was pretty good to this one. One pet peeve I did have with this film, though, was the repetitive score. It was so damn loud and repetitive. I was like, okay, we get it. It was just very run-of-the-mill after a while, but it was a decent time with these characters, and I thought it was a pretty good, satisfying ending to this one, and had some beautiful moments to it. So, Shop Girl, if you like Lost in Translation, guys, or something like the film On the Rocks from Sofia Coppola, yeah, I'd give this one a watch. It's quite good, actually. So, Shop Girl, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 there. I went back to my parents and I watched a fair few, like, indie dramas. So, if these films are not your cup of tea, guys, that's absolutely fair enough. You feel free to skip along if you want. But, yeah, I did watch the film Having You with Anna Frail, and this came out in 2013, I want to say. And yeah, this was not bad actually. Not sure how much rewatchability it's gonna have for me, this one, but I did quite like it. A quite interesting story where this guy, he's just been engaged to like this nurse, had an unexpected visitor from way back when, from his like days when he was living back in Manchester. This mother is just trying to find the biological father of her son, and she thinks it's this guy, and again, it's just all kind of sort of it's been totally out of the blue and unexpected, and he doesn't know how to like process this new experience come to light here, and he's waiting for the right time to tell like his fiance at the same time as that. And there's a whirlpool of emotions going on. I think he works at like this like textile factory, I think it is. And he, you know, like he's wanting to like tell his boss about this and fill him in about it as well. Pretty decent film, guys. It was a bittersweet ending, but a pretty good drama on the whole, that one. The film Having You, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10. Jeff Who Lives at Home. This is from the same guys who directed the film Cyrus, which I think is so underrated, and I think this came out shortly after that film did. Yeah, Jason Segel and Ed Helms, who both play these brothers. I think Ed Helms is trying to get to the bottom of this affair that is going on with like with his girlfriend, who she's having a bit of a car crash of a relationship with Ed Helms' character. But Ed Helms wants to do a bit of eye spying now on like his other half. Jason Segel wants to try and find this, I think this like I think a celebrity or this person like with like that happens to have like this same name. And Susan Sarandon, who plays the mother, is doing a bit of online texting messaging, like someone who's anonymous, who happens to like be in the same workplace. So it's an interesting film with a couple of interesting things that is happening afoot here. And there's one scene, guys, I absolutely love, and I would class this more of a drama than a comedy, if I'm being honest, where there's a scene with like this traffic and there's a boat on the shore, and I won't say any further than that, but that was probably my favourite part of the movie that brought those two brothers together. Yeah, there's a scene that was quite chaotic where the car just crashed into the tree, and like earlier on in the movie, but very solid film, guys. And yeah, if you like films like Cyrus from that same director, that's definitely worth checking out there. So Jeff Who Lives at Home, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Then a trip to Tyneside Cinema, and I went to go and see the film Tom Papa. Yeah, first time watch of this film. I thought before thinking about getting that Criterion Blu-ray, I would try it out at the cinema first to see how I feel about this film. And do you know what, guys? I thought this film was actually kind of excellent. I really enjoyed this. It was a great crowd. It was a full house screening actually as well. And I just thought it was so entertaining to watch. It had its comedic elements attached to it. The main lady in that film was just such a sweetheart and such a lovable soul in this film. And she's, like a widow in this film. And she's ready to open up like her own independent business around cooking, like her own business where I think it deals with like kind of noodles and ramen, those kind of meals there. She's under a great deal of pressure where these visitors just roll into town and they're quite hot-headed. they kind of got these, you know, like kind of big high ticket expectations here that kind of, you know, like puts a bit of a whirlpool of emotions on the table there. And she just, go figure, she just rolls with it, and she basically just tries to keep everything under control, everyone relaxed and chilled in the best light-hearted way possible. And it's such a fun movie, guys. I really did enjoy it. Film that clocked in nearly 2 hours. You don't feel the runtime with this one. And there's one scene actually involving like a turtle I did not expect coming from a mile off there. So I would say, guys, if you're watching this film, definitely a heads up before that scene, by the way, because that wasn't a pretty picture. But I don't want to put you off this film, guys. Apart from that one scene, everything is pretty light-hearted, lovable, and it is just a very good film. And yeah, I did think it was known to be the first kind of noodle western. It was named as at the time, so did enjoy that one. And Tom Popo probably will get this one in a Criterion sale down the line. I really did enjoy this one. I'm giving that one an 8 out of 10. Are You Here with Owen Wilson, Zach, and I can't pronounce his surname there, I do apologies, and I think, was it Amanda Pete's in this one as well, I'm pretty sure. Are You Here? This was not a bad film, guys. I think, to be honest, they could have trimmed down the runtime, I will say. I don't think this film needed to be as long as it did. There was some scenes that dragged out here and there that did waver, teeter on a little bit there. But overall, it was decent. You know, Owen Wilson is this, like, weather reporter, this, like, TV weatherman, and Zach, surname from, obviously, the Hangover movies. He was probably my favourite character of the film, and he's still, like, struggling with grief. He's got a bit of a wishy-washy relationship with his sister, and his inheritance has all come down to him, and it kind of spices up kind of a bit of an uproar and a cool heads in a hot kitchen sort of moment there. And yeah, and then that causes a bit of a bittersweet rivalry between him and his sister, the other relatives in this film, and Owen Wilson again is trying to keep an eye on him because he's just seems to be causing a bit of a like an uproar, like wherever he goes. And that's kind of that you see their friendship come to town there. And decent film, guys. I did like the scenes by, I think, the Outbacks and that, and also the relationship between Owen Wilson, that lady in there. She's beautiful in that film, and that comes to look out after the house here and there. I really think she was a fantastic character in this film. So yeah, the film Are You Here? Decent indie drama, not going to be a rewatchable movie for me, but I did quite enjoy this one. I'll give that one a 6.5 out of 10. But something a bit better here in my opinion, and I think it was Ash that did recommend me this film. I think I picked it up like nearly a year ago on DVD, but Ash did recommend this film to me as well, and that is the film Rocket Science from 2007. And yeah, guys, I've got to say, I really did enjoy this film. Brought me back to films like Submarine, Garden State, or what was the other one? The Graduate or Rushmore. Films like that are films that I love and I'm all over. And this is a good time. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting learning about this main character who's this candidate for, I think, this like competition in his school. He's got a bit of a bittersweet rivalry with his brother in there. Him and his brother just do not get on at all. Anna Kendrick, who's also in this campaign, he starts to fall for her. They spend a bit of time together, and then they do not spend as much time together, and then you see that then they are together on screen. It's a bit like that, really, but I did find it interesting, the side story where the main father is away from home for a segment of the film. I've got to say, I thought the soundtrack was pretty decent as well. Good one, Ash. Good recommendation from you here, buddy. And definitely one I would watch again. And yeah, guys, if you love films like Submarine, Garden State, and what else was it there? Rushmore, I would definitely recommend this film. It was a good watch, this one. Rocket Science, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Anthology film focusing on 3 separate characters that are ladies in this film, and how about each of their like kind of relationships, how they kind of wanted to break away from the relationships, but their family dynamic as well. And that is Personal Velocity. And yeah, my memory is a little bit fuzzy on this one. I did quite like this one, but I think just because I've watched that many films for the back half of April, this is kind of where I do remember liking it, but it was just part of that period where I was just watching so many of these indie dramas at a time and that. But I did quite like this one. Good following, like kind of each different set of characters. And I thought they just packed so much into, like, I think it was like 80 minutes, like, shy of that. So I thought the film did a good job there. Interesting kind of family plot, I think, between, like, a mother and her son character and that. And there was some quite, like, kind of nature scenery going on in this film as well. And, yeah, quite interesting film, this one. Definitely, I think I do need to go and refresh my memory on this one as well, because like I say, I think it's just become a bit of a blur now, to be fair. Did think there was some really good acting to that one as well. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't really have a lot to say on that one, unfortunately, but I did think this was a decent watch all the same. And then yeah, there was some quite heartfelt moments to there. And there were times where you really felt for one character to next with what's happening. And yeah, decent film, that one. Personal Velocity, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. I don't know how controversial this is going to be, because I could be in a bit of trouble here where I talk about my opinion on this film, and that is American Splendor. Now, I admired and I respected this film from Paul Giamatti's performance, the way the film was laid out, where I think you're focusing on the older version of this character, this group comic book artist, and then you're seeing kind of the younger version, and it's Paul Giamatti. But I have to say, guys, I didn't like this film, unfortunately. A bit of a disappointment, like I Heart Huckabees. I just found, and maybe, I can't remember if this is based off a true story or not. So I do apologise, guys, if I did get that wrong, but I think it is based on a true story. I can't remember now. He was just in this film, that is, I don't know, but I think in this film, he was just so whiny. He was very arrogant. I get that he was kind of maybe under a great deal of pressure, and he was trying to throw so many ideas to get together across the board. I will say I did admire, you know, the comic book side of it and the sketches and that. And Paul Giamatti, he definitely the best thing about this film. But yeah, I just found it a bit Dullsville, this film, to be honest. And yeah, just again, I think a film that I thought was so much better than that was something like Funny Pages, which I just thought had a better story going for it. But This film, yeah, I think it was just all down to the main character, and I just didn't really do much for me, this one, but I think it did go for some Oscar buzz at the time, so maybe it's just me, guys. I maybe missed something here on that first viewing, but like with any film, guys, I'd rather just give you my honest to God opinion, and I would rather just be honest about a film and tell you guys truthfully of what I thought to the film here. And this one just didn't do much for me, but I will say with this one, I would be open to giving it a second viewing down the line. And definitely because I really like Paul Giamatti as an actor as well. So American Splendor, I'm going to give a 5 out of 10, yeah, didn't do much for me, that one, unfortunately. But something I was much more dearly fond of, and we got back on track here, actually, with the film. Now, this was a bit of a spur in the moment, because I was just looking at possibly, like, indie dramas, like I was searching Google on the go, I was searching for, like, indie dramas. This one just so happened, it cropped up, and I don't believe, to my knowledge, this has had a physical release over there. And I think that is criminal, to be honest, because I would have loved to have this in my physical collection. But if I ever do go back to this film again someday, obviously I will just nonetheless decide to stream it, despite it not having a physical release. And that is a film called The Giant Mechanical Man, I believe, with Topher Grace and Jenna Fisher. And wow, guys, this was such a nice little film, a nice surprise, and massively underrated. Like, such an endearing romantic drama where the characters in here you can root for, unlike something like Puccini for Beginners, and what was that other one again? I Heart Huckabees. Unlike those films earlier on, these characters you can root for and get behind here. And Jenna Fisher, you're just following. She's kind of in a bit of a, not so much a dead-end job, but a job that she's not finding very uplifting, and not much going on there. But when she meets this guy, it's a bit of a turning point for the movie, and he's on a daily basis, he's like this dressed in this, like, as this robot, this mechanical man, and doing this for like a bit of a street performance. And you see them meet one day and clash heads, and they start to blossom a bit of a relationship here. Jenna Fisher's just come out of a bit of a rocky relationship there, and I will say for Jenna Fisher, you really feel sorry for her character. Her sister and her husband in that film, they're just both arseholes in that film. They're just not likable people. But Jenna Fisher, I just love one scene where she just stands up to their nonsense, and you see her do start to get her own way in them. But I really enjoyed screen time with both this main pairing here. When there's things that are going against them, that they just won't take any of that rubbish. And I just thought there was some beautiful messages in here. Ollie, Ash, if you've not seen this film, guys, I would definitely recommend it to you boys. I think you will really enjoy this film. And anyone that likes these charmful, like, indie dramas, romantic films, yeah, get this onto your watch list, guys. I think you will be quite surprised, like I was. And Jenna Fisher just plays such a sweetheart, a lovable soul in this film. So yeah, the Giant Mechanical Man, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought this was brilliant, to be honest. Unwatched shelf series, I watched the film Orphan, and I'll go quite brief on this film because I talked about it a lot more in depth on that video, but I thought this film was great as well, guys. Really interesting, like, take on a horror film. and, you know, about Esther from an orphanage. She comes into this family's lives, and there's a bit of a hidden truth there, a bit of a mystery surrounding her character, and you see that unravel and unfold as the film goes on and puts things at unease for one character to the next. I think it's quite similar to another film I'm going to talk about, but I really enjoyed it. Peter Sarsgaard, the other actors in this film, did a cracking job in there. Great wintry setting, and again, a couple of anxiety-inducing moments. Did this film need to be the 2-hour mark? Probably not, to be honest. But I thought it was a good film, this one. The film Orphan, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there. Couple of new releases that I watched at the Market Pavilion here in Blythe. And I watched Lee Cronin's The Mummy. This was so cool. This was so cool. Yeah, I dug this. I really enjoyed Evil Dead Rise from Lee Cronin. I know not everyone enjoyed that film, which is absolutely cool. You're right there. I thought that film was fantastic, in my opinion. And whilst I don't think this film held a candle to Evil Dead Rise, in my opinion, I still enjoyed this take on the Mummy and the Mummy universe. I was quite apprehensive with this one following the trailer. I thought it was going to be a generic throwaway paycheck sort of standard horror film, but it absolutely was not the case here. It was a pretty good horror film with its anxiety-inducing elements to it, an interesting story where there's a couple, I think they're on holiday, and their daughter goes missing for 8 years, and 8 years later their daughter comes back into their lives, but there's a bit of a shift in tone, a bit of a change in direction there, where she's overtaken and she's being kind of possessed and very, you know, like she's a completely different character to how you originally knew her at the start. And the parents are given this warning by the doctor that just be warned here that she's in a bit of a state of shock and she's still on that road to recovery. She has her outbursts. There's things that put the characters and the family on edge here, and a great deal of unease, and that makes for just a really good horror film. The original Evil Dead and The Exorcist were thrown into a blender here. It had sprinkles of them films, and you know that was kind of peppered here and there. And yeah, I really did enjoy this one, guys. I thought that the direction that Lee Cronin went with this was pretty good and on point. And again, I don't think this needed to be the 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think we could have done this in about 100 minutes, give or take. But overall, I enjoyed it. I went with the ride and I had a good time with it. I must admit, though, there was a lady sat next to me that had this Apple Watch that was just flashing here and there, and it's like, come on, darling, couldn't you just put that watch away somewhere where it wasn't really distracting? But oh well, she was probably a canny lass and what have you, but that Apple Watch is so distracting, kind of get a bit on my nerves after a while, but still went with the ride and did enjoy this film. So Lee Cronin's The Mummy, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there. And then I watched a pretty feel-good film, actually, Lee Rotham, with Brian Cox, and I think he directed this film, if I'm not mistaken. And the Scottish guy, who was great, actually. He was probably my favourite character of the film. And this guy has had some pretty saddening news. He's had a bit of a checkered history with his brother, and Brian Cox I think has basically like had some saddening news, and like his brother, who is living out, I think in Chicago, I think, comes back to sunny Scotland to visit his brother. They meet for the first time in 40 years. They don't really gel and get on at the start, but then you see there's a bit of a change in direction there, and they start to kind of sit down and talk. There's a bit of a side story with this like blues bar in Chicago, which I found an interesting side story. The side story with this brewery as well. And I can't remember, I think, is it Shirley Henderson from Trainspotting? And she makes a great addition to this story as well. So, yeah, quite a decent, self-aware, light-hearted, warm cuddle of a movie. And definitely an easy watch, guys. If you want to watch something that's get clocking in at the 90-minute mark, this is not a bad call here. So Glenn Rotham, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10. Getting back into 2000s comedy territory here. I watched the film before I went back to West Yorkshire for like a couple of days, or just for one night, should I say. I decided to check out The Promotion. Now, I believe it was Andy at Forgotten World of Movies. I think Kenny and Ollie was speaking about this on a live stream, and I thought, yep, John C. Reilly and Sean William Scott, 2000s comedy, I'm in. That's getting added to the watch list here. And I bought the DVD for pennies recently, and I've got to say, guys, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was just such a fun movie, you know, like, it's not, again, not setting the world on fire. It's not, you know, kind of it's not kind of a movie that's a bit of a, you know, like taking this subgenre into a whole new, like, era. I'm probably talking at the back of my head when I'm saying this, guys, lol. But yeah, it was a fun film to watch. Sean William Scott and Jenna Fisher as well, back in this as well. Jenna Fisher, she's basically got these ambitions about kind of potentially moving into like this new apartment state, and it's all down to Sean William Scott, who is going up for this promotion at part of this supermarket. But there's these rules and barriers in place that just seem to get the better of him. There's like a street gang that just seem to kind of just put his character through the ringer here. And John C. Reilly, who comes into town and into the picture here, you think there's going to be a lot of bickering and arguing between both our main leads here, but it wasn't what I expected. And I think you see they're kind of just hanging out as new friends with one another, and I kind of, but you do see them still going up for the promotion and this main title here, and it was so different to what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a bit like Step Brothers, where both the main leads are just not getting on at all for a good portion of the movie. And there's a lot of bickering and arguing at the start. And this is quite different to that. And I admired the film for that. Really think, again, it was well narrated by Sean William Scott. It was so interesting hearing from his character, how he's finding working life and social life and home life a little bit stressful and a bit stress-headed, and yeah, and his thoughts on everyday working life. I just found it an interesting film, this one. Really enjoyed the chemistry between both our main leads here. So The Promotion, again, guys, if you love your 2000s comedies like I do, probably actually Ash, if you've not seen this film, Ash, probably get this one on your watch list here, mate. I think you'll quite enjoy this film, to be fair. So that's the film, The Promotion, and I'm going to give that a 7.5 out of 10 there. Yeah, really enjoyed that one. And thanks to Andy, Ollie and Kenny for putting me onto this film because I quite liked that one. Right, guys, so I think this is going to be another hot take incoming here. So I went to go and see the latest game adaptation of Exit A, and oh god, this film was pretty terrible. Man, I just didn't get it, guys. I'm so sorry to anyone that really enjoyed this film, and fair play, guys. I do applaud you. I'm really happy you enjoyed this one, but I just didn't get on with it. And it was such a shame because I love world cinema. I love foreign language movies, don't get us wrong. But I just found this film to be so... It was long in the tooth. It was so stupid. At times, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? It was just so daft. And the main character that was just very wooden and not much personality going on there. I kid you not, there were times when the movie where I was like, there's this poster, there's this poster, there's this poster, and there's this poster, there's this poster, and this poster, and that is what happened for majority of the film. And it did remind me a bit of a Doctor Who episode where I think that happened with, I think, Amy in one episode where she's stuck in this like alternative universe, and it happened with Peter Capaldi in Heaven Sent, which is a brilliant episode, but I was so disappointed and underwhelmed by it. I think if we'd had a couple more characters, Easter eggs to this story. I mean, there's this guy and he's just trying to get home. He's trying to get home after work, I think, and he comes off the train. He goes to like this, I think it's like the gateway, yeah, part of this platform, and he's just playing this game where he's trying to go to the exit, but it's just so stupid, like rinse and repeat after a while. And I was watching this, I was thinking, I'm fucking lost here. Like, there's films that's happened to me, but there's enough there to keep me entertained at least. But yeah, really was disappointed with this film. Guys, I will say though, this is just one man's opinion. Don't listen to me if you're still interested in this film, because I'm probably in the minority here. But God, this was terrible. This was so ludicrous, and it was just very... It just didn't know what it was. It didn't know what it wanted to be. And that ending happened, and I thought, thank God, I can move on to the next film now. So yeah, the film Exit A, yeah, and I'm glad I didn't watch the first 7 films, jokingly, because this wasn't a great time. And yeah, but power to anyone that really enjoyed this film, just not my cup of tea, unfortunately. So Exit A won't be getting an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. Yeah, nah, sorry guys, didn't enjoy that one, I'm afraid. But for something a bit better than that, actually, I quite enjoyed this film a bit better than that, is a film called 23 Walks with Dave Johns, from I, Daniel Blake, which I absolutely love and adore that film, and wanted to see something else with this actor in, and I forgot the main actress in there, guys. I do apologise, but yeah, this was not too bad, actually. Probably a film that I might return to in the future, but probably not for a long while. Simplistic with its premise, just a main guy in there, and him and his dog, and they go on these walks with this lady, I think, who's just come out of a harsh relationship, and she's got her dog, and they just basically go on walks together around this park. But each of them have got quite, personal problems that's happened. Things have gone on in each of their lives previously, and it brings them together. I will say, guys, I think what let it down for me was, I think, just the knowing that these characters were just really getting on for a good segment of the movie. You'd see them just clash heads and just bicker and argue a lot of the time, which sometimes I'm all right with it in a film if there's enough there to keep me engaged, but then it just got a little bit much after a while, and I'm like, I really was enjoying when they were getting on and that, and yeah, so that is what did tainted this film to one extent, but a satisfying ending and a decent conclusion. And yeah, I think Ollie would probably get something out of this film, I'd imagine. So 23 walks, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10. It's a fine little movie, that one, to be fair. Now, guys, I want to do a video at some point on films that I think just gradually get better on rewatch. And that is Le Haine. Now, I thought this film originally was good, but quite overrated. And I rewatched it last year, and I thought, yeah, I can see why now this is well acclaimed as it is. And now, this is my best viewing of this film. I think this film is wonderful. Guys, I think this film just is fantastic. It really is. A film set around 24 hours, and it does so much with that premise, and these 3 friends that are just, again, they're kind of following from the events of these riots, and it just brings them together. They're trying to learn this hidden truth about their missing friend, and they go to search the truth, and they go to, I think it is Paris, I believe, and then they decide to find more about this missing gun as well. One day you find, and they just basically, you spend more time away from home, and you learn that they're just wanting to find more about information about their other best friend. And Vincent Cassel, just what a duck to water here at the time with his debut role. He's such a cool dude in this film, and the other main 2 actors are great here. It's just well narrated. Yeah, it's just a really good film, shot beautifully in black and white. Definitely one that I think is going to get better and better on every viewing. I think I originally had this at 3.5 to 4, and then I bumped it up to 4.5 on Letterboxd. And that ending, if you know, you know. So yeah, Le Haine, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. I think this film's bloody ace indeed. Then a film that I watched part of the Young Watch Shell series, and that is the film The Good Son. Yeah, good film, guys. The ending was a little left to be desired, in my opinion, but everything before it, it was a solid watch, a good bittersweet rivalry between both our main leads here with Elijah Wood and Mac Macaulay Culkin, interesting thriller where things just spice up in the kitchen. There is some nerve-wracking decision-making here and there. And again, it's a really good watch, this one. So The Good Son, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Definitely a film that's been one of the best new films of the year. And I can see this film gonna be in the running for my top 10 of the year come December, and that is the Michael Jackson biopic. Now, the critics, and fair enough, each and everyone's entitled to this opinion, to their opinion, sorry. Why the critics and why this is getting so much flack and rubbish and shite from a lot of the critics, in my opinion, I don't know, because I don't think this is anywhere. I just don't think this film deserves the hate, to be honest. I think it's just, it is not a car crash of a film it's been made out to be by many of the critics. And yeah, the Michael Jackson biopic, in my opinion, personally, I had a great time with this film, guys. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought, is it Jaffa Jackson put on a great show here. He was so good as, like, MJ in this, you know, like, and I thought the young actor who played the younger Michael Jackson part of the Jackson 5 era did a great job as well. And the actor who played Michael's father in there, he put on a great performance. Miles Teller actually cropped up in this film as well, unexpectedly. So it was just a great film, guys, following from the Jackson 5 era to the Bad Album period. And I believe we're getting a second film after that, which, yep, I'm in. I'm having some of that. I'm looking forward to the second film already. So interesting learning about the life and the music, you know, like, and the Off the Wall, the thriller, the Bad Album era of Michael's career. I just think this was a really good film. Great acting. And again, just, I thought the film was just so well directed here, so well directed. And yeah, I'm already looking forward to going back to this film at some point. I definitely will be getting this part of my music related Blu-ray collection because I thought this was great. And my dad really enjoyed it. Me and my dad went to see this at the View Cinema in Gateshead, and we both said to each of where this was a really good film, this one. And again, had its emotional beats to it as well. So, Michael, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. Like I say, guys, if you are interested in this film, I would say best to just go in with an open mind and be your own judge on this film if you're interested in this film, because I thought it was really good, this one. The Mighty. So, this is a film I found out through Ollie. Ollie was the one that put me onto this film here when I think he compiled a list of Touchstone Pictures films, and this was one of them. And yeah, I did think this was really good, actually. And Kieran Culkin, who's got this condition, and it's, you know, like, and this, like, illness, and he's being there to accompany and be a really good friend to this main guy in there, this main young lad in there as well, who is getting teased and frowned upon at school. And Kieran Culkin is there to defend him and, you know, like teach him to make a stand to these bullies at school. As well as this, the main lad in there, his dad has just been released from prison. His dad, played by James Gandolfini, who gives a brilliant performance in there, as you would expect from that guy. James Gandolfini. I would love to check out more films with James Gandolfini, because I think that man is such a fantastic actor and sorely missed as well. And yeah, Sharon Stone gives a really good performance in there, as well as Harry Dean Stanton. Good wintry setting to this one. I really liked the fantasy elements and the themes there. Did remind me a little bit of Bridge to Terabithia at times. Thought it was a good story and a bittersweet ending, but a very solid drama. The Mighty, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 there. A fistful of dollars on the big screen. And this film is fucking awesome in it, guys. A great kickstart to the Dollars trilogy. You know, like massive, Sergio Leone, massively influenced by another legend in filmmaking with Akira Kurosawa with Yojimbo. And I am going to see Yojimbo next week at Tyneside Cinema. And I did really enjoy that film, but not as much as many of other Kurosawa's films. But I'm hoping that second viewing's going to change my opinion on that film, because I did want to like it more, I would say. But yeah, Clint Eastwood, badass as ever, you know, as the main leading character. You know, great music from Ennio Morricone, and this rival gang to this story that's causing chaos and havoc to this western town. And Clint Eastwood wants to protect these townspeople. And yeah, again, there's some really kind of dark, subtle scenes in there. One by in this like by these barrels, and like I think by like late at night, and where there's this like a fire that strikes, and just a really cool showdown towards the end as well, and good setting with this saloon bar. Yeah, really good cinematography as well, and a lot packed into its runtime. So yeah, fistful of dollars, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 there. And yeah, Tyneside are actually showing for a few dollars more in a couple of weeks, so I'm aiming to go and see that on the big screen, because this was wonderful on the big screen there. And I'm going to end the video with just a really awesome time of a 2000s comedy that just fits into that bracket of such a great time of a 2000s comedy. First time watch of Harold Kumar Go to White Castle, or as it's known over here, Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies. Again, massive thanks to Ash for recommending me this film. Yeah, this was so much fun. Really good fun, this. Self-aware, it knows what it is. The same director of Dude, Where's My Car? Or Where's Your Car, Dude? Barrel of laughs, if that's the right term to use here. And very daft but fun-loving comedy, and a bit of a stoner comedy as well. And these two main guys that share this apartment together, and one I think's going up for like this interview, and then the other guy I think he's just chilling at home. And then they decide what could they do with their Friday night, and instead of watching I think 16 Candles at home, they go on a mission to White Castle for this exclusive burger. And this film had me howling at times, guys. Oh my God, that scene where the guy at the drive-thru who has a major breakdown, and obviously the bathroom scene, if you know, you know. Oh my God. And then obviously, how can I forget Neil Patrick Harris as well, who basically just drives away and he steals their car. Oh my God, it is funny. The elevator scene, the scene with the Puma. Oh, it's just, yeah, it is a really fun time, this. Actually looking forward to checking out the sequel now, which the sequel's actually got decent ratings as well. And I thought both these main guys absolutely bossed it, to be honest. And you could tell they were just having fun in the roles, and that's all you want. Oh, the scene where he basically tells a lie to his dad, and basically he hugs his dad in order to steal like his driving license. I think something like that. I had a great fun time, and thanks to Ash for recommending me this because I really enjoyed this. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. And yeah, guys, do let me know in the comments, have you seen any of these movies? And yeah, looking forward to what May brings to the table with first-time watches or revisits or cinema trips, the whole shebang. Just been a great way to look back on what has been a pretty solid month for movie watching there. So yeah, guys, hope everyone has a wonderful bank holiday weekend ahead. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and thanks for all your continuous support. I really do appreciate it, and I'll be back for more content soon there. So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye, take care guys, thank you so much.